Hello ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having me. My name is Gema Aditya Mahendra. I'm from Universitas Negeri Semarang. In this occasion, I would like to present about my paper that entitled as LMath, Educational Game of Logical Thinking based on Unit 3D for Understanding Math Concept Students. But before explaining about the idea, I would like to explain about the backgrounds of this paper. Indonesia is a country with a total population of 267 million people, has a high frequency of expectation for good human resources. However, this potential for good human resource is hampered by various factors, and one of them is the quality of education. In the education quality survey report released by PISA, Indonesia ranks 72 out of 77 countries. The report is based on indicators of low levels of understanding of basic abilities such as reading, math, and basic science skills. Then, other researcher has shown that logical thinking is positively correlated with the understanding of math concepts. This is evidenced by the lower value of logical thinking for someone who has a low value for math concepts than for those who have a high value for math concepts. What is logical thinking anyway? Logical thinking is the ability to think coherently. The ability to think coherently is very important for students, especially when getting lessons from the teacher regarding basic math concepts. With good logical thinking, students will be able to understand basic math concepts correctly. And to minimize the backwardness of Indonesian education in the eyes of the world, Indonesian government has designed a standard education process curriculum that utilizes information and communication technology, such as Zoom meeting, Google meeting, WhatsApp, and PowerPoint. And the goal is to obtain an effective and efficient learning process among educational people. According to Sanchez and Martinez in 2020, an effective and efficient learning process can be carried out if message and learning information are conveyed well to students. One of the learning tools that can support the creation of good communication or information delivery is learning media such as multimedia. So far, the most widely used and developed multimedia by teachers as a learning medium is a PowerPoint. And the results show that the most of teaching staff prepare standard PowerPoints. This causes the teacher-centered learning process, so that students become less interested to study and the intellectual development of students is not optimal. And one solution to overcome the problems above is to use multimedia that is able to attract students' learning interest with an attractive user interface design, one of which is digital educational game. Digital educational games are game applications designed to educate users in understanding the concept of content material and knowledge. The development and implementation of digital educational game has been widely reported from various levels of schools, from elementary level to high school levels. And all of these reports show the effectiveness of using educational games to improve understanding students in learning. And based on the research described above, the development of educational game application to improve student understanding of basic abilities can be done. The research offered by author is LMath, Educational Game of Logical Thinking based on Unit 3D for Understanding Math Concept Students. Logical thinking is the ability to think coherently based on a set of premises at by level. With the application of logical thinking into educational game applications, it is hoped that it can improve logical thinking students in understanding math concept. Thus, the learning that is carried out can give birth to a comprehensive thinking ability that can realize an inclusive education. The method used in this paper is the waterfall method. The waterfall method process is the work of system carried out in sequence. And the reason for using the method is because the waterfall method approaches systematically and sequentially in building systems so that it fits perfectly with the theme of this paper. There are 5 steps here, including requirements analysis, design, coding, testing, and maintenance. And the next is result and discussion. First of all is flowchart. Flowchart is a chart with curtain symbols that describe the sequence of process in detail in the application. You can see in this picture that flowchart starts from the start to the finish. And the next is case diagram. Case diagram is the description of representation of the interaction that occurred between the user and the buttons in this application. Case diagram on the author's idea can be seen in this picture. And the next is display of main menu page. there is 3 menus here, including materi logika, materi matematika dasar, and quiz. And the next is display of materi logika menu. There are 4 menus here, including logika kategoris, logika hipotetik, logika konjungsi, and logika disjungsi. If we click one of these buttons, then it will appear the description of the material. And the next is display of materi matematika dasar. There are 4 menus here, including algebra, arithmetica, geometry, and calculus. If we click one of these buttons, then it will appear description of the material. And the next is display of quiz menu. This menu serves to test students' understanding of basic mathematics after using this application. This test is also important as a measure of how effective this application is. And the next is game testing. Game testing is done by the black box testing technique. In general, there are 2 indicators here, namely success, which means the function or work element in accordance with expectations, and fail. Fail, this means an error occurs or the function does not run according to the expectation. And this is the result of testing the buttons. This image shows that all of the buttons works properly according to the function. Test results show that the educational game of logical thinking based unit 3D for understanding basic math concept students that have been made running well with the presentation of the test 100% successful. And suggestions for further research are to make the design more varied and the effectiveness of this application. And that's all for me. Thank you for who has paid attention to the presentation. I feel honored to be here in this afternoon. Thank you very much. Thank you.